We're taken to the Korean Hunters Association, where Chairman Go Gun-hee is in a meeting with representatives from Japan. Leading the Japanese delegation is none other than Shigeo Matsumoto, the president of the Japanese Hunters Association. Matsumoto firmly hands over a document and declares, "This is the contract that grants Korea ownership of the Jeju Island magic crystal." Go Gun-hee is stunned. That was completely unexpected. But Matsumoto doesn't stop there. "In return, I'd like to hire Hunter Sung Jin-Woo." Chairman Go offers a slight smile and replies calmly and knowingly, "Unfortunately, Sung Jin-Woo is not a member of the Hunters Association." Matsumoto already knew that. The issue was that there was no way to contact Jinwoo directly without going through the association. He wasn't expecting Go Gun-hee to broker a deal. He just wanted a chance to talk to the hunter. Go Gun-hee thinks for a moment. Japan was really willing to give up something that valuable just for a chance to convince him? That showed how desperate they were. Matsumoto was basically admitting that with Goto Ryuji dead, there was no one left in his country strong enough to handle an S-rank gate. Considering Jinwoo's worth, the offer wasn't bad. Still, Go Gun-hee keeps his smile and proposes, "President Matsumoto, I'd like to speak with you in private, without the translators." Matsumoto is caught off guard. Go Gun-hee spoke Japanese? "My father worked in Japan when I was a child. I've known the language since I was young," the chairman explains casually. Then his tone shifts to something far more serious. "President Matsumoto, if you're planning another dirty move, I suggest you stop now." "What are you talking about?" Matsumoto replies, frowning. Go Gun-hee stares him down coldly. "I've heard rumors that you've become an enemy of the Draw Sword Guild." Matsumoto's expression immediately tightens, but Go Gun-hee continues. "From what I know, Draw Sword refused funding from your association and started being financed privately. That alone raises suspicion. Before, with Goto Ryuji in charge, you gathered multiple S-rank hunters under your wing. But now that the guild has collapsed, your power is crumbling." Matsumoto narrows his eyes. Go Gun-hee finishes. "I imagine you're busy fighting for control of the association against rival guilds, right? If this gate isn't closed this time, the blame will fall entirely on you, President Matsumoto." A chill runs down Matsumoto's spine. Before he can answer, Go Gun-hee reaches into his pocket and places something on the table. Matsumoto's eyes widen. That's... It was the black box used by Japanese hunters during the Jeju Island raid, the same communication device used by Goto Ryuji's group. An overwhelming aura radiates from Go Gun-hee, shaking the very room. "Did you really think I didn't know everything?" His voice is filled with authority and fury. "The real issue isn't the magic crystal. It's what will happen once this goes public. Do you have any idea the kind of chaos your schemes could cause for your own country?" Matsumoto is in shock. His face goes pale. Without hesitation, Go Gun-hee strikes the black box with a single blow, shattering it completely. The impact is so strong it splits the table in half. The tension in the air is suffocating. Go Gun-hee, besides being the association president, was also an S-rank hunter. Matsumoto feels his body freeze. He was standing in front of a true monster. Then Go Gun-hee softens his tone slightly but speaks firmly. "I'm not cruel enough to expose all of this, but I can't let one man's ambition endanger an entire country, or better yet, all of Asia." He stares him down with razor-sharp eyes. "If there's someone you should be thanking, that someone is Hunter Sung Jin-Woo." Meanwhile, deep inside the double dungeon, Sung Jin-Woo continues his brutal battle against the stone statues. Wielding his demon daggers, he slices off the heads of the stone knights with terrifying ease. But no matter how many enemies he destroyed, they kept advancing non-stop. "This is getting annoying. These guys just won't die," Jinwoo mutters. Suddenly something catches his eye. In the distance, the colossal statue of God begins to gather an overwhelming magical energy in its eyes. The growing glow signals an incoming attack. It's too late to dodge. Sheathing his daggers, Jinwoo calls upon another skill. Ruler's authority. He manipulates the stone knights, lifting them to form an improvised barrier. A devastating beam erupts from the statue's eyes, instantly melting the statues used as shields. Still, the moment he gained is just enough for Jinwoo to narrowly escape. Even so, the edge of the blast grazes him. That was close," he mutters out of breath. "Even with all my strength, a direct hit would have been a real problem." The statue of God smirks arrogantly. Jinwoo clenches his teeth, resolute. "Just as I thought. I have to end this now." In an instant, he bursts forward at high speed, leaving a trail of raw magical energy behind him. The statue raises its foot, trying to crush him with a brutal stomp. The ground is obliterated, but then it sees a glimmer in the air, a streak of light flying straight toward it. It's Jinwoo. He had pierced the creature's foot and was now ascending quickly, heading straight for its head. The statue begins gathering another I-beam attack, the energy surging with even more intensity. Jinwoo realizes there's no way to avoid it this time, unless he pulls off a risky move. You see, if I use Ruler's authority to pull it slightly while accelerating, I might hit its blind spot before it fires. With surgical precision, Jinwoo activates Ruler's authority, tugging the statue ever so slightly, while charging in a fierce dash. The beam explodes, tearing through the air like a magical hurricane. But Jinwoo had already slipped past, landing right in the creature's blind spot. He exhales sharply, stunned by what he just did. That was insane. But it worked. Now, he was close to the statue's head. The creature looked shocked. It hadn't expected anyone to get this close. Jinwoo doesn't waste a second. Vital strike! With his demonic daggers in hand, he unleashes a fierce barrage of attacks on the statue's head. Each blow echoes like thunder, but the structure doesn't even crack. The statue smirks. What? Jinwoo's eyes widen. After all that? My Demon King's dagger only left a scratch? Frustrated, he changes his approach. If I can't cut it, then I'll crush it. Jinwoo jumps and lands squarely on the statue's face. He begins concentrating all of his mana into a single point. The energy around him erupts. His right arm glows brightly, enveloped in pure magical power. I need to focus everything, right into one spot. He shouts, "Break!" With a devastating punch, Jinwoo slams his fist down with all his might. From afar, the statue of the commandments watches, and for a brief moment, it smiles. Unbelievable, it murmurs. He's really managing to destroy my creation. Jinwoo doesn't stop. He keeps pounding the same spot again and again. Each strike makes the statue of God flinch. The raw force was working. This is the final blow. Sung Jin-Woo channels all the energy he's built up through his journey. At level 103, his power is nearly incomprehensible. With a deafening roar, he focuses every bit of his mana and delivers the finishing strike. The impact is explosive. The head of the statue of God erupts in a massive wave of magical energy. Fragments and sparks fly through the air. The giant creature trembles and finally collapses, shaking the ground with a thunderous crash. But there's no time to celebrate. The night statues, which had remained still until now, all turn to face Jinwoo in unison. Their eyes glow bright red. In an instant, they surround him and charge with fury. But before they can even touch him, Monarch's authority. With a simple wave of his hand, Sung Jin-Woo slams them all to the ground like insects. The overwhelming force of his presence dominates the battlefield. Silence. The fight was over. Walking slowly through the wreckage, Jinwoo looks over the debris left behind by the battle. His gaze is steady, yet calm. "Looks like I got a little stronger from this fight," he murmurs. Then, an unexpected sound breaks the silence. Applause. A slow clap echoes through the dark hall. The statue of the commandment steps forward, clapping lazily with a cryptic stone smile on its lips. "Impressive. Very impressive." Jinwoo doesn't waste time. "Now keep your promise. I want the truth." The statue only smiles, even more cryptically. But who said the test was over?" Jinwoo's expression hardens. "What are you talking about?" The statue of the commandments widens its grin, now almost mocking. "Well, I'm still standing, aren't I?" At that moment, an alert blares inside Jinwoo's mind. Emergency quest activated condition. Defeat your opponent within 10 minutes, or your heart will stop beating. His eyes narrow. The atmosphere shifts. "Who the hell are you? Really?" The creature gives a slight bow, keeping that arrogant smirk on its face. "I said this was a test, but since you insist, I'll satisfy your curiosity." Raising its gaze slowly, its voice deepens into something dark and ominous. "I am the architect." It smiles, calm and in total control. "I hope that answer pleased you." While Sung Jin-Woo faces off against the mysterious architect inside the Temple of Kartanon, another tense scene unfolds outside. At Jin-A's school, right in front of the very gate where Jin-Woo is fighting for his life in the double dungeon. Agents from the Hunters Association have surrounded the area. Soon, Woo Jin-chul, chief inspector of the surveillance division, arrives on the scene. Wearing his battle armor, he's determined to enter the gate. Accompanying him are 7 elite hunters from the association. But he knows, for someone like Sung Jin-Woo, these hunters won't make a difference. They're only there to contain a potential disaster, if things spiral out of control. As he approaches the dimensional rift, Woo Jin-chul suddenly freezes. A chill runs down his spine. The other hunters glance at him, confused. "Can't you feel that?" he asks, sweat running down his face. A crushing presence pours out of the portal. It's as if death itself is waiting on the other side, sharp like a blade pressed against the neck. Alarmed, Jin-chul asks if any major guilds are nearby preparing a raid. The hunters confirm the Hunters Guild is mobilizing. Choi Jong-in and Cha Hai-in, both S-rank hunters, are preparing to enter. Without wasting a moment, Woo Jin-chul orders, "Send out an emergency request. The Hunters Guild needs to cooperate with us immediately." But in his mind, one question keeps echoing. What the hell is Sung Jin-Woo really? Back in the Temple of Kartanon, the architect begins revealing his true power. His 6 wings morph into 6 massive stone arms. He grins menacingly and charges forward. In the blink of an eye, he appears right in front of Jinwoo and throws a triple punch. Even trying to block, Jinwoo gets hit head-on. The impact hurls him into the wall, and the resulting explosion destroys part of the temple. He coughs up blood. The pain is real, intense, far greater than anything he's ever felt before. But before he can recover, the architect is already on top of him again. This time, Jinwoo reacts. He dodges the first strike and narrowly avoids the next 2, launched by the extra arms emerging from the architect's back. The force of those blows obliterates columns, ceilings, and pillars. The Temple of Kartanon shakes. The architect grins, confident. But then, to his surprise, Jinwoo is still standing. Bloody, battered, his body aching. Jinwoo stares back with eyes burning like fire. Unshakable determination radiates from his gaze. "Well, well," says the architect, impressed. "You're exceeding my expectations." A moment later, Jinwoo takes a glancing hit. Blood runs down his side. But he doesn't stop. That was the opening he needed. With explosive force, Jinwoo lands a direct punch to the architect's face. The impact is brutal, forcing the enemy to stagger back. The architect laughs as he recovers. Who would have thought? A fight against a human has become this entertaining. I never imagined one of you would be a worthy opponent. But something changes. The punch left a visible crack on the architect's face, a fracture that slowly spreads, revealing something beneath the stone's surface. Jinwoo narrows his eyes and murmurs, "He brought me here right after I hit level 101. Did he really think that would be enough to take me down?" With blood dripping from his face and one of his eyes glowing red, he locks eyes with his opponent and asks firmly, "Architect, you still haven't answered me. Why did you create the system? Why was I chosen as the player? What's happening to the world?" The architect charges again like a shadow cutting through time, and answers with an enigmatic tone. "You want answers? I see." He lets out a low laugh, almost amused by Jinwoo's desperation. "Now do you think killing me now would leave your questions unanswered?" But Jinwoo doesn't hesitate. He runs. He already knew ordinary attacks wouldn't work anymore. Hand-to-hand combat was useless. If direct attacks were no good, then it was time to change strategies. Sung Jin-Woo activates Monarch's authority once again, preparing a long-range strike. But the architect just smirks, as if he already knew exactly what was coming. "Pointless," he says with disdain. "No matter what you try, long-range attacks won't work." And then, the unexpected happens. The architect raises his hand and activates an ability nearly identical to Jinwoo's. Two invisible forces collide. The impact creates a massive shockwave that sends both of them flying backward, shaking the temple walls. Sung Jin-Woo's eyes widen in shock. The enemy could use the exact same powers he could. There was only one conclusion. Even distance was no longer an advantage. His attacks were completely neutralized. The architect watches him, smiling mysteriously, and declares, "It doesn't matter. Whether you kill me or not, the answer you'll receive has already been decided." He takes a step forward, his voice filled with certainty. "From the moment I planned all of this." With a simple hand gesture, the architect summons his power again, a variation of Monarch's authority. The weapons scattered throughout the ruins, axes, swords, spears, hammers, begin to rise. One by one, they float toward his 8 arms as if gaining a life of their own. The result is a terrifying sight. The architect wielding an entire arsenal, ready to end everything. Sung Jin-Woo doesn't flinch. He summons the Demon King's black daggers, gripping them tightly. "How did you plan all of this?" he demands. "And how did you give me this power?" The architect smiles, finally revealing part of the truth. "I didn't choose you." He pauses, letting the suspense linger in the air. "I merely created the player-strengthening system. I was the architect, nothing more." His gaze turns ice cold. "My plan is perfect." Jinwoo narrows his eyes. "Time is running out. There's only one way forward. I can't hesitate anymore. I have to attack head-on." Sensing his hesitation, the architect charges forward, shouting, "Then so be it! Let's fight until time runs out." With a swift leap, he unleashes a devastating attack. At the very last second, Jinwoo dodges. The architect's strike hits the ground with such force that the floor cracks in every direction. But he doesn't stop. The next blows come in a furious storm. Spears, swords, axes, each arm strikes down with terrifying power. But not a single hit lands. Jinwoo feels something different. Something new. What is this? His senses are sharper than ever. He can see every move before it even happens. Sword, spear, mace, hammer, axe. He dodges flawlessly, Each attack is avoided with razor-sharp precision. Not a single weapon touches his body. The architect begins to show unease. He's blocking and dodging, with nothing but his own power, and he's getting faster. Sung Jin-Woo charges in. Like a slicing shadow, he closes the distance and, with a devastating blow from his daggers, severs one of the architect's arms. The architect looks at the severed limb calmly, showing no pain. "Even if this body is fake," he mutters, almost admiringly, "it's impressive that you managed to wound me." Then he smiles. "I see now. There was a reason you were chosen." His eyes gleam. For a brief moment, his expression changes. It's only a fragment, but he also possesses that. Sung Jin-Woo, consumed by icy rage, glares at his enemy with a lethal, unforgiving gaze. Cold, merciless. The architect feels a chill. For the first time, he hesitates. "You're just a human. How dare you?" But time keeps ticking. Only 3 minutes and 45 seconds remain. Then, a new threat rises. The night statues, shattered moments ago, begin to move once again, rising like soldiers from a nightmare that refuses to end. Even her. The statue of God, destroyed earlier, begins to rise once more, refusing to accept defeat. But Sung Jin-Woo doesn't falter. He knows just over 3 minutes remain, and he won't waste them. Without hesitation, he unleashes Monarch's authority. With a brutal strike to the ground, Jinwoo releases a massive shockwave that rips through everything around him. Statues are hurled like leaves in a storm, scattered by the overwhelming force. But the statue of God strikes back. With a monstrous punch, she charges toward him. Jinwoo dodges at the last second, a perfect, surgical move, and then he sees it, the perfect opening. Without a second thought, he launches at the architect. His daggers gleam like black claws under the fractured temple light. He unleashes a flurry of fierce, relentless strikes. The force of each blow makes the temple tremble. More statues try to intervene, but Jinwoo is faster. With deadly precision, he severs more of the architect's arms, but just as he prepares to finish the job, a piercing blow hits him. The architect's blade slips through his defenses, stabbing deep into his side. Jinwoo's eyes widen. Before he can react, another strike. A shield crashes into his shoulder, sending him flying. He feels the shock. For a moment, his body staggers, and then he sees it. The statue that struck him. It was her, the same shield-bearing statue that years ago tore off his leg, back when he was still considered the weakest hunter in all of Korea. The memory explodes in his mind. With a roar of fury, Sung Jin-Woo leaps. With a single devastating elbow, he smashes the statue's head, shattering it to pieces on impact. The architect watches, stunned. But there's no time to waste. Jinwoo is already on him again. With a series of precise, crushing blows, he rips off the remaining arms of the architect. The impact triggers a magical explosion that floods the temple of Kartanon in a blinding light. Time is almost up. Just a little over 2 minutes remain. But it no longer matters. Sung Jin-Woo has won. Without a word, he presses the black dagger to the architect's throat. The defeated enemy exhales a resigned breath. "I've lost." The test is over. Sung Jin-Woo has defeated the architect, the very being who created the temple, the system, and who made him into the most powerful being that has ever existed. But even in victory, questions still echo in the silence that follows. Who really was the architect? What was his ultimate purpose? And above all, why was Sung Jin-Woo chosen? Thanks for watching until the end, and see you in the next video.